Right, everything looking good. We are live. Let's go ahead and get this stream started. But before we do, I got to be straight up with you guys about something. You're probably not going to be able to tell, but my allergies are acting up. So I'm going to try to suffer through this stream tonight. Hopefully, it's not too bad, but you guys will still get some value out of it. So, welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader, with our Sunday evening market update. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 25th, 2022. And before we get started, I'd like to remind you this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile. Please do your own research and, of course, trade responsibly. All right, so let's jump right in and take a look. All right, so if we go over here and we'll just run down the usual suspects. Oh. All right, so TNX. So we did close up there at daily highs, weekly highs, pretty much all time frame highs. This week is going to be crucial. I mean, as long as we're closing cycle highs, still very bullish. This looks like we found support, and we're gaining back momentum to the upside. So I would expect it to continue to the upside. Obviously, the Fed doesn't seem like it's going to pivot anytime soon. And then we look at on the monthly. I mean, we're basically above the 200 exponential and simple. We're going parabolic. Now we have this week, 5 days, to decide where this monthly candle closes. If it closes like it is now, that's extremely bullish. If it came all the way back down and got rejected, came back down to like 3.1, then maybe I would start to question yields and what's going to happen going into the future. But right now, this is very, very bullish. It would take a substantial move to the downside. Almost 100 basis points to even compromise the trend, and that does not seem likely. So if we go over to TLT, obviously looking at 20-year bonds, it tells us the opposite. I mean, this is extremely bearish, basically closing at trend lows, cycle lows. I just don't see any bottom in sight for the bond market, at least right now. I mean, we have some more support around 102. But again, that monthly candle is going to look pretty nasty now. You know, basically has 4 days to try to get back up here and close back above like 111. And, you know, no sign of strength in sight. Obviously on the monthly time frame, 101, 102 is support. So not looking good for bonds right now. U.S. oil, obviously closing at lows. New lows for the cycle. Still inside this descending channel. Now clearly below the 200s. On the weekly, still doing that back test as expected. Finding support around like 72, possibly 64. We might not just go there though. We may bounce around in this area for a little while. As obviously oil's been selling off now for some time. We look at that monthly close. Again, we're just getting that back test we expected. Still looking for low 70s or like mid 60s. And that's where we're looking to load back up. Potentially. We'll see what price action looks like when we get there. Dow closing well off the lows, but at new lows. And then on the weekly, brutal close below the 200 simple. Haven't done that in a long time. And then on the monthly, I mean, just does not look good now. We're confirming the cross down. We're, you know, at the lows right now. Any low close below 307 is going to point to further downside. SPY was slightly off the lows. I mean, we pushed down to the lows, but we closed off of it at least. That's good on the daily. Same with the weekly. At the 200s. And then the monthly just looks brutal. Very close to just breaking down. 382 is the next target, like 354. But a new monthly low close and a cross with all this momentum to the downside. I would expect at least temporary support around like 350, but it would be temporary. NASDAQ on the Qs. A little bit off the lows, but still pretty brutal. Weekly at the lows. Tested the 200 simple now for the first time on the Qs. And monthly confirmed cross. Momentum to the downside. Just looks terrible. It's got a couple days to rally and try to save that trend, but doesn't look good right now for the indexes. So Russell finally let go. Slightly off the lows, but pretty brutal. Same with the weekly, right at the lows. I mean, it looks like we could find some temporary support here, but it looks like we're probably just going to see more selling. And then it's however they want to print the monthly candle. I mean, if they want it to look okay so they can keep the trend kind of going for a little longer for distribution, maybe they, pick it up over this next week a little bit. But if they're ready to break down, I mean, anything but a bunch of buying coming in, this is going to look really bad on every index. Monthly candle already crossed out, clear rejection, closing at the lows right now. I mean, likely headed lower on everything. Semis looks the same. Energy had a pretty big breakdown, big gap. We could come back up and fill it at like 75, but I wouldn't hold my breath for it right now. Seems more likely. At this point in time, we're just off the lows. Probably coming down here pretty substantially, especially if oil sees weakness. Utilities got brought up pretty aggressively. Pretty much had the measure move for the double top here. Got bought up to the 200. Right in between support. I would expect this to hold for now. Consumer staples. Bouncing key support. Again, looks like it wants to chop her out here, but downside target at like 65. Transportation looks terrible. FedEx holding on to key support for now. Looks bad though. Oh yeah, what's up, Luke? He said, I feel for you. I suffer from hay fever and allergies too. It can be brutal. Thanks for powering through and going ahead with the stream. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's fucking brutal. I mean, it's been like this all day too. So it's more of like a pain in the ass than anything. Except for if you try to take a drink, you feel like you're about to drown because you can't like fucking breathe. But anyway. But yeah, definitely I'm glad to be here, man. I really enjoy these streams, enjoy you guys. Obviously, technical analysis, all this good stuff. So, obviously got to take the good with the bad. So DXY is next. Obviously, dollar extremely strong. I mean, gigantic, just bull candle. No surprise. We've been bullish. We're still bullish. There's pretty much nothing that can happen anytime soon to change that. We're just going into a weekly bull trend, parabolic uptrend. I mean, this is the squeeze. Yields of the dollar. Everybody's been calling for a top forever. We've been talking about the breakout forever. And here we are. Look who's right. Ha ha. We got it. But I mean, it is what it is. Anybody can just switch sides whenever they want and just join us. It's not like we're like, oh, it's too late now. You can't be on the dollar yield bull side. At any time, people can switch. It's just going to happen slowly over time. I mean, it's tough to wake up every single day and then be like, hey, should I just stick to my guns today and keep being wrong again? Or should I just realize, hey, I'm wrong. I'm just going to admit it and I'm going to switch to the dollar yield bull side. I mean, it's been, a year now, a couple of years, depending on what you're looking at. People still talk about the dollar top, etc. So we'll see. They got one more chance coming up at 120. That's a strong resistance. Monthly, very, very strong. All the momentum above the moving averages, postured up. The only resistance in sight is like 120. All green histograms, blue slope line. Very, very bullish on the dollar. When we turn on the crazy spaghetti chart, if we just zoom over here, we see the key levels we were watching for was the 0.5 and the 786 at 107. And we talked about as soon as we closed above this descending resistance, as soon as we closed above those two key fib levels, we got our little mini rocket ship. Once we break out, the little mini rocket ship starts to take off. And then what happens if Big Daddy rocket ship, if we break out from here, that's Big Daddy's going to take us all the way up here. And when it gets there, I mean, you can't even see the rocket ship if we go through that one because it's off the screen. So goddamn big. TradingView wouldn't even load it up for the stream today. So, let's hope for the world's sake this doesn't happen. But, I mean, so far, what is going to be the big event that crashes the dollar? I mean, probably intervention. And right now, like, who's going to intervene? Well, obviously the Fed, right? Right now, the Fed's got all the power. Why would they intervene with themselves? They're doing literally what they want. And people are like, no, the Fed doesn't want to crash the economy. As soon as they realize they're crashing it, they'll switch. As soon as they realize what they're doing to the rest of the world and that the dollar is being weaponized by them against the rest of the world, they'll stop doing it. Oh, really? Unless they're doing it on purpose. I mean, there's two ways you can look at this. Either the Federal Reserve is a bunch of just absolute morons that just have no idea what's going on, or they're diabolic and evil, or it's a combination of the two. I would say probably a combination of the two. I mean, they're bankers. No offense to anyone that's a banker here, but let's be real. I mean, straight up biblical. Like, we know how in the past bankers have been treated or represented. I mean, there's something evil about, enslaving your fellow man. So, that being said, without going too deep into it, I would say that there's a good possibility that actually the Fed is like doing exactly what they want to do, and they still have all the power. Remember, forever the Fed, the government wanted inflation, and now they got the inflation, and they love it. They're just saying, oh, the inflation is so bad, we hate it. Oh, it's crushing everyone, my grocery bills, oh. But like, they don't care. All the people that matter are like super rich and in charge. They're not worried about inflation. It's great for them. They all have tons and tons of debt. And that means they get to spend more taxpayer money without actually having to like earn it from taxpayers. Because, it's basically just the second tax. So Apple breaking down below the 200s. Still strong for now compared to most things. But obviously confirming now officially into a bear trend. We had the initial confirmation. We pushed back up another lower high. Failure to hold support. Looks like we're going into a long-term bear market for Apple. Everything else already been in one. Tesla, same thing. We're at that double bottom, that double top, the M pattern. If we break through support at like 271, we're talking about a push down to like low 230s. Microsoft putting in new lows, very, very weak. Broke down from the 382. We know obviously the measure move. We almost hit, we had a nice move down. We back tested, put another lower high. So I wouldn't even worry about the measure move from the head and shoulders really playing out. I would just look at the fibs right now. 0.5 at 216 seems likely. These are all those big stocks, the big players. If they really break down, the market's going to go, the indexes, etc. Google, under $100. We talked about that for a while. It's here. It happened. We did it. Good, bad, ugly. It's at the 382. So a breakdown from here takes us to the 0.5, which is about $87. So, but we are at support. Nvidia, just straight up melting down. Already halfway to our target. You guys know we're looking for a potential bounce entry somewhere around 103. Now we'll have to look at what price action looks like when we get there, but I think it's realistic to think from around that 103 level, we could easily get a 20 to 30% bounce. Now, I wouldn't get greedy with it. I would count on the 20, trail my stop, etc. But we'll see. There's going to be some opportunity there. Meta, looking terrible. New lows, cycle lows, going to zero, it looks like. I mean, it's almost down to our key target. 123 is a key level. So we'll look how that plays out. Amazon next. So it tapped the 618 perfectly. Had a little support. Looks like it wants to break down, though, and test those lows. So once it gets down to 102 again, it's going to let go. I mean, it should have some support when it gets there initially, But if and when it actually breaks down, I mean, we're talking about like 96 and then 89, and then road of lows put us at like 81. Still got some time though. I wouldn't get overly bearish on the markets right this second. I think the key is to see how Monday goes. And then if we see continuation on Monday and we don't see a turnaround like strong Tuesday, it's probably about to get nasty. And like when I say that, timing's the hardest thing. In my opinion, the ball is literally in the Bulls' court. And the Bears are winning by like 60 points. You know, the score is scored in increments of like 1 or 2 or 3. So the Bears are way up. The Bulls have to really start making like just ridiculous plays on these markets, or we're going to melt down. And when we melt down, I mean, it's going to get bad. It's going to be like 100-0. Bitcoin looks terrible, just hanging out at the lows again, consistently putting in lower lows. I mean, it's just a matter of time before this thing breaks down to like 16.5 to probably like 14K. That's what I'm expecting. Weekly chart just looks brutal. I mean, below the 200 exponential, already turned down, flipped red. 200 simple is like flat, about to flip red. We're about to confirm into our first ever in existence weekly bear market on Bitcoin. That's terrible. That's really, really bad. And the rest of the cryptos are holding up pretty good. So if this breaks down, I would expect altcoins to get destroyed. Now, some altcoins might be okay. Strong ones with good fundamentals like XRP. Remember, this is not financial advice. About your financial advisors. Markets are extremely volatile. Please do your research, trade responsibly. Weekly is extremely weak. We closed at the weekly close. Lows, rather. Monthly is 5 days away from nowhere. There's nothing here. There's 2 wicks right here, and there's this monthly candle. There's nothing else. It's just literally no man's land right there. So the second we really decide we're breaking support right here, after 4 months of dilly-dallying, we lose all this other shit. And then there's 1 candle and 2 wicks holding us up. So it's going to be a quick trip to 14K. A very, very quick trip. When and if we break, which seems likely right now. All the momentum pushing to the downside. So brutal, brutal looking cryptos. What's up, Yoda? Good to see you. Yeah, I don't actually have a cold. My allergies are just a total nightmare right now. Yeah, I mean, I feel great. I'm fine. I mean, other than the inability to be able to use half of my body to like breathe from, you know, not half of my whole body, but you know, the mouth part and then the nose part. So only one is currently functioning, which is a big pain in the ass. It's been a nightmare. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't last, but I just get like random allergies. Like out of nowhere, apparently. It's been literally like this the entire day. So I almost drowned earlier taking a drink. It was terrible. Okay, so it was like waterboarding. Like, but also sort of quenched my thirst too. So it was like 50-50. I'm like, oh, I hope I don't die. But if I do, it's a pretty rewarding way to go. But obviously I'm fine. It's false alarm. So Ethereum, still well off the lows, but I mean, same thing. If it decides to let go of this level, there's quite a bit of actual like sideways price action that took place inside of our channel from way back when. So as long as we're in this range, it looks okay. Keep in mind too, we talked about this 618 retrace from the bottom to the top. As long as we're at that level, I don't want to like completely write out the possibility, and this is not my base case, but I don't want to write out the possibility that we do still get a 5th leg up here. Now, it doesn't seem likely, and realistically, I think we should be going from here. So it's not as clean of a 618 test, but I mean, let's just say hypothetically, this is a 1, this is a 3, and then we're just coming in for a deep 4, finding support at the top of the 1. As long as this area is holding, I'm okay with this. Now, you know, this was our line in the sand to break down from. But also, when we really, really zoom out and take the big picture, and I may not even be able to do it on the daily, this level we're holding right now is the 382. So if we go from the all-time high up here down to our potential bottom, my predicted bottom, which we might not be going to. We might not be going there. But this would all line up with this target area. And if we go from the bottom of our March 2020 low to the top of our all-time high, this level we bounced initially was the 382. We came all the way back up and bounced the macro 236. And now we're coming back down in between. Looks like we're coming back down to the 382. But then on top of that, we have that potential level I'm watching. Now, this might not hold up. Might not end up being the bottom. We might end up, stopping right here. And that was the lowest we ever go on Ethereum. We might go substantially lower on Ethereum. But there's just quite a bit that lines up like that just looks like eerily fishy to me. Not to just kind of throw it up there for now. So we'll see how it goes. We don't want to get overly excited about certain levels or whatever. But right now, it seems likely that we come back down to the 382 level at 1047 or 1047. But after that, the real target is either the 0.5 or the 618 or somewhere in between. So, and then, we can get this and turn it off hypothetical. And then, that's how, obviously, depending on where that goes to, that's how we come up with like the one day, eventually possible $20,000 Ethereum price target for that macro 5. But, I mean, we'll see. It might never even come to that. On the daily, though, it looks pretty rough. But we'll see what happens. Weekly is still holding support at the 200 simple, so it's still a little stronger than most cryptos, including Bitcoin. Momentum is turning down. Moving average are like all either down or about to flip. That 200 simple is just hanging on for now. The monthly looks bad. Everything's just pointing to the downside. Looks like a clear backtest and rejection. Ethereum wants to go lower, kids. Looks rough. ETH Bitcoin ratio, hanging out at resistance. Got rejected quite a few times. The real question is when it comes down, if and when it comes down, which it likely does, when this crosses down, where does it find support? The bottom of the channel, 200 exponential, 200 simple. If it goes to the 200 simple, it's going to look real bad because we'll have a high, low, lower high, potential lower low. And that seems the most likely. Now, we did break out for quite some time on the way up here. So a breakdown out of it doesn't just mean we go to zero immediately, but, I mean, got to be careful. This transition right here could have been brutal if you didn't know what you're doing. The same way this could potentially be brutal if we do switch back into a bear market on ETH to Bitcoin ratio. Total market cap on the weekly. Close below the 200 simple here. Not good. Not what we want to see. The first close, like pretty much ever, below the 200 simple was like right here. So, I mean, not cool. Actually, we did have a couple back here. Sorry, my bad. So it's not like the end of the world when you do something for the first time, but it doesn't look good. Losing momentum too, rolling down, it looks like. Bitcoin dominance, hanging out at the bottom of the range. If we exclude the stable coins, though, Bitcoin looks much better on the Bitcoin dominance chart, telling us that there probably is a lot of money just sitting in stable coins for interest or speculating on the dollar or just seeking safety in the dollar. That does seem likely. And honestly, Bitcoin dominance looks like it's picking up steam. It's coming out of the bearish control zone. Still a ways away from a cross. The slope line is blue right here. It needs to reclaim it or it's going to look bad. So we'll see what happens. It looks like it's on the edge of making up, its mind on some important stuff. Things are happening, folks. All right. So gold, new daily close, cycle low close, looks bad, real bad. Weekly looks terrible, below the 200 exponential and simple now. 200 exponential is actually bearish. I mean, it looks like it's ready to go lower. We've been talking about this for some time, and here it's happening. Momentum has flipped. Monthly has crossed red, and it's at the lows. It's got 5 days. The whole market is like, it feels like there's always just like, oh, just one more week and then we find out. And it's like, the way you have to look at these events in a bear market is every time we get another one of these like deadlines and everybody's like, oh, the next Fed meeting. Oh, once this monthly closes. Oh, whatever it is. Like, if it doesn't happen if it happens or if it doesn't happen, whatever the event is that you're looking for, before the event, think about, some key things. Does this change the overall outlook of the market? Like right now, my overall outlook of the market is most everything is clearly trending, and most everything is clearly trending bearish. Energy is kind of making up its mind. Some commodities are hanging on for now, but most of them have flipped bearish. The dollar and yields are extremely bullish. Everything else pretty much bearish. So for me, like one more monthly bear close is like just more confirmation that we're just more bearish. It doesn't like change the script one way or the other. It's just full on like, hey, it's just more bearish stuff, which tells me more lower lows. So that's the most important way to look at it. Till something changes, till we start making bullish progress, just more of the same, which for me, lower lows. Silver's trying to hold up. Had a pretty brutal sell-off though. Looks like it's coming back down to new lows. I would expect this thing. If it spends too much time around like $17, we're talking about like low double digits, like grossly low levels. Gold silver ratio still back testing the 200s. I would imagine we're going to see this kind of oscillate around this range for a while. But as long as it's above the 200s, gold's the way to go. So GDXJ broke down from support. We'll see what happens here over the next couple of days. If this is telling the truth, GDXJ, if like the spot gold markets tell the truth, these things, the floor might be about to drop out on them. So I'd be real careful. I know everybody's like, oh, I'm not going to sell the low on my gold and silver miners, but you sure it's the low? Commodities breaking down new lows on GSG. That is real bad. New lows on a lot of stuff this week. Brutal lows. And things, we're just now getting back to support, and a lot of stuff's making new lows. If the floor falls out on this market, if we get a trap door, we could be talking about some big moves down quickly. If. Don't get too bearish now, but if. It can get real bad real fast. First chart's natural gas ETF. So that gas breaking down. It's just all the way to our targets. We've been calling for these bounces, these rejections, back tests, and then, lower lows. Some stuff's already making lower lows. Some stuff's barely, off the lows. Some stuff's at the lows, but it's all doing the same thing. It's like one big chart right now. We don't even have to look at all these assets. We just look at like 3 assets and get the whole picture. So we're getting that move down on uranium. So CCJ back testing the 200s. Looks like further downside. The rest of the uranium market's telling the truth. I think CCJ is holding up good because a big player, it's safe. But when it lets go, if it does what the rest of the uranium market's doing, this is URA, and it's clearly just trending down. Looks like more of the same. Same thing. Clearly downtrend. Roy, clearly downtrend. Threatening the lows right now. Next target, 182. I'll probably scalp it again when we get there. Pot stocks. CGC. Again, the reason we got to take profits on these things. Beautiful take profit up here. I felt stupid for not taking profits right here, and I thought it was going to come back to bite me in the ass. I held on for just a little longer and then got out. Perfect timing. Right back to the starting point. Got to lock in those games. Tilray, new lows. It happened, ladies and gentlemen. We are literally threatening the all-time lows on Tilray. You guys know what that means. When we break through, if we get a bloody waterfall, your boy's going to take a stab at it. I'm going to pick the bottom after it's down 99%. I'll give it a shot. It's not a crypto. It's like an actual company. So, ACB, Aurora, again, new lows. Just absolutely brutal to anybody holding bot stocks. Brutal. Cheese. Chili's is hanging on for now. We'll see what happens. It's hanging out. It technically broke out from that like descending resistance, depending on how you had it drawn or how much you respected it. Still just looks to be making this breakout move from the descending channel. So, target up here, 786. I had talked about the risk reward is probably to the downside, but if you're a strong believer in cheese, I love cheese. So I don't know what this cheese is, what kind this is. I've never had chili cheese. I've had like chili cheese fries. Or is that what it is? Is it a company that literally just mixes chili and cheese? Because I might get behind this. Tokenized chili and cheese products. We'll see. Looks good. Looks better than most cryptos. It's above the 200, so I could see why you'd want to stay in this. Just put in a recent higher high. This is the real level to watch. If it comes up here above like 31 cents, that cheese, you're going to be rolling in cheese if it comes up there. Some of that chili cheese, if you know what I'm saying. All right, but we're going to keep this one really, really short. Sorry about the last one cutting out there. And sorry, obviously, my allergies are killing me today. So due to my lack of breathing, and I'm sure this is super obnoxious, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Obviously, we will be back for our midweek market update on Wednesday at 8 p.m. We'll do a nice long, like 2-hour stream, assuming I can speak and breathe by then. And yeah, Friday, obviously, market wrap up at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, none of this is financial advice about your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile. Please do your own research and trade responsibly. Trends are still all intact, doing the same thing. We're seeing energy looking like it's trying to flip bearish. A couple of the stronger players in the stock market trying to hang on for now. A couple stronger players in crypto, like the cheese, trying to move up. But overall, the only thing that looks good right now, strong, is DXY and TNX. Pretty much everything else looks extremely, extremely weak. Now is the time to be defensive. Protect yourselves. Don't take unnecessary risk right now. You know, we can take unnecessary risk and gamble in a bull market and get lucky sometimes. We don't want to gamble in a bear market. You know, who knows? You could do some dumb trade or something like that and then lose your job the next day. Not worth taking chances. So protect yourself, protect your capital. You know, take care of your family, provide, be responsible. You know, when the time is right, it's going to be easy pickings in these markets. And, you know, we're getting one day closer. Literally every day we get one day closer to the bottom and more easy money. Now, is that going to be one day closer and still 6 months away, a year away, 10 years away? We don't know, but there's going to be opportunity along the way. There's going to be a lot of it. So I think this last quarter of the year is going to be a good one, and we should hopefully find a nice little trend to pick up on, deploy some capital, not only for scalping, which is mostly what we've been doing lately, but hopefully some positions will open up as well. I'm thinking there's definitely some potential for you know, miners, commodities, you know, potentially. We'll have to see how the markets develop, but potentially on energy too. If we get down to some of those key levels, I'd love to load back up on uranium, oil, etc. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. It's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets should be volatile. Please do your own research, trade responsibly. Hopefully my allergies will be cleared back up. Appreciate everybody tuning in today. And if we are doing better, I'll throw out a static video or something like that. I may be able to do a couple of them. So we'll get some out there as soon as I can speak and breathe again. But that's it for today. It is 8:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9/25/2022. I'm, of course, Crypto Trend Trader, and I'm out of here. Peace. It's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile. Please do your own research or trade responsibly. Crypto Trend Trader out.